And my presentation today is focused on the things that the County of San Luis Obispo is doing, some of the accomplishments that we've achieved in the unincorporated areas. Before I go into those things, I want to give a big shout out to the cities, though, because they are our huge partners and doing amazing things. We see in Arroyo Grande, the Traffic Way Bridge is complete, which is super awesome. So let's give a round of applause to the Kroger Beach, all the great work you've done on Grand Avenue to truly revitalize it. It's amazing. And, in Pismo Beach, you guys just make it look easy. You have all that revenue, building police stations and fire stations and all that good stuff. So focusing on the Board of Supervisors today, I want to just briefly cover what our priorities are. These are really your priorities. We are your representatives. And of course, we put public safety first. Of course, fiscal stability. We've had some pretty difficult budget conversations. We had to cut about $38 million in our last budget. We eliminated 155 positions, but we did that in a way that was fiscally responsible and did not reduce the level of services that we provide to our community. And that's good governance. In our top tier priorities, actually our board recently moved economic development to the top of the first tier list. I'm sure that Supervisor Ortiz-Legg, who will follow me, will talk about that. We really value economic development. We value the work that you do as the business community, and we want to make sure that we're providing government services that works for you. Housing is a top concern, mental health, homelessness, and then resiliency. You may recall the 2023 storms that beat the heck out of the county, and we had sustained about $70 million worth of damage to our roads and infrastructure and bridges. So we've been working to do that repair work and go through that FEMA reimbursement process to repair our infrastructure. The AG Creek Levee was a big project where we did 3 phases to make sure that we restored that to prevent future flooding in Oceana. And then water resilience, we've got the big regional desalinization initiative that we're working on. And that, again, is based on the partnerships with the cities, with the community services districts, evaluating sites for feasibility and moving that very long-term project forward. And I'll talk a little bit about organizational effectiveness here in a second. But I wanted to give a quick update on Lopez Lake. Who here is tracking what's going on with the Lopez Lake litigation situation? I see the city managers and the city council members raising their hands. In general, the high level is that we've got overview, is that we've got Arroyo Grande Creek. And in that creek are steelhead trout. Some might say that steelhead trout don't exist there, but the biologists will say that we have steelhead trout, which are a federally endangered species, utilizing that creek to spawn. And we were sued by a number of environmental groups alleging that the County of San Luis Obispo's operation of Lopez Dam and Lopez Reservoir was negatively affecting the ability of the steelhead trout to swim upstream, and that was a violation of federal law. And unfortunately, they initially received a preliminary injunction in their favor that forced the county to release 15 acre-feet of water per day. Which was not good for any of us, especially not the users in South County, which we have about 50,000 people that rely on Lopez Lake for a safe, reliable source of drinking water. The county appealed that decision, and we won in court, again, working collaboratively with the cities, and that reversed that preliminary injunction, and we don't have to release the water at that rate. Our whole contention at this point, or from the get-go, has been that, sure, we need a habitat conservation plan that looks at all the species that are utilizing AG Creek, and we want that plan to cover those species. We want to make sure that we're protecting those species. At the same time, we need balance, and we need to ensure that we are protecting our water supply. And so that's what we've been advocating for, fighting for. And I just want to acknowledge that that is a cost. The cost of litigation alone is a cost to the cities and the community services districts, and that we want to work collaboratively with you. We've got Assemblymember Greg Hart here in the room. We are trying to work with our representatives at the state level to look at funding sources that will help fund the long-term implementation of the Habitat Conservation Plan. But it is going to take that collaborative effort, and we appreciate the work of the cities and the partnership moving forward. But also trying to get that issue on your radar, because I'm finding that a lot of folks aren't even aware that we've been dealing with this issue. And I hit those bullet points. I'm going to keep moving. Okay, so on the subject of trying to make government work for you, we've been going through a number of assessments focusing on specific departments. We started with our public health agency,
which includes the Public Health Department, the Behavioral Health Department, Public Guardian's Office, and Animal Services Division, and really kind of focused in on public health and behavioral health. And what we tried to do there is identify the programs and services that are discretionary, meaning that the board could reduce or eliminate given our budget challenges. And we were able to do that. In fact, we came up with about $10 million in cost savings having gone through that effort. And I know that there has been concern in our community. I see we have Tima here in the room, which is one of the partners. But yeah, let's give a shout out to Tima. And given the budget cuts we've been dealing with at the federal level and the state level, that compounding nature of budget cuts at the local level makes it hard for our providers to rely on that funding to provide those services. But I'll share a positive story. After we went through all those budget cuts, I was approached by one of our mental health clinicians who came up, and I thought I was going to get an earful about the impacts to our clinics. And she said, actually, no, some of the work that we're doing as a county is forcing us to rethink how we provide services and provide better services. One of those things is actually co-locating our behavioral health drug and alcohol services with our mental health services in a new model where people can go to a one-stop shop. And so while it has been challenging, I think we're actually making things better, and that's what everybody wants here in our community. We then focused in on our planning and building department. We know that that matters to the business community. Supervisor Ortiz-Leg and I hear it quite often that either the process was too cumbersome or it took too long, whether it was somebody trying to build an accessory dwelling unit or a home addition, or even some of our larger subdivision projects. And so we went through this process of utilizing a consultant to analyze all of our steps in our planning department, in our building department, and came up with an implementation plan for the short term, near term, and long term to kind of reform that department and provide better customer service. And if any of you has a story that you want to put on Supervisor Ortiz-Leg and I's radar that we can then help translate and provide to our staff so as they implement this process of reforming our department, we would love to hear those stories, so please reach out to us. Okay, a few District 4 updates, because we are here in District 4 in South County. I mentioned public safety being our board's top priority. The Board of Supervisors voted to allocate $12 million to move forward with the Sheriff Substation project in Nipomo. This is a long-awaited project. It was identified as a need back in 1994, and here we are finally moving forward. It's currently under design and will be under construction in 2027. It'll be located in Old Town Nipomo, kind of across the street from where the Jim Miller Park will be going in eventually, and really excited about that project. Also, we've got the Nipomo Community Plan update. Just like we've seen the city of Arroyo Grande do their general plan update, Grover Beach had recently completed theirs. I don't know where Pismo's general plan update is, but I'm sure it's fine.
Last night.
Oh, very good, okay. So we're all kind of updating our long range plans. What is our vision for the next 20 years? And as we have gone through this process, we've done a number of surveys. We saw in one survey, 1,200 respondents said that traffic congestion, safe routes to school, the need for more sidewalks, bike lanes, were really a top priority for the community in Nipomo. That people want to see downtown revitalization in Old Town. And I get approached a lot about how do we make Old Town like Los Olivos or something like that. So we're really starting to get these ideas flowing, and recently had a business meeting with just the business owners in Old Town, and we're talking about historic preservation. There's an old general store. There's just so many ideas and good work that is happening as a result of this planning process. We've got the partnership with the Dana Adobe. Appreciate you being here, Jim. Working on a trail connection that would connect the Jim Miller Park to the Dana Adobe, so people could hike from downtown or Old Town Nipomo out to the Dana Adobe and back. And lots of good stuff happening. We also see the need in Nipomo for parks and recreation. We have one major park, the Nipomo Community Park, for a population of about 24,000 people. There is the Jack Reddy Imagination Park, which is a really important facility that's going through a number of phases that will provide services to children dealing with disabilities. We've got the Old Town Jim Miller Park that I mentioned that is currently in the design process as well. So lots of things moving forward. But the fact is that the community has dealt with quite a lot of growth, and we'll be experiencing a lot of growth moving forward, about 2,000 housing units. And we need to make sure that the facilities and the infrastructure and the amenities are keeping up with that growth. And then public safety came up in the survey and has been a top priority, and that's why we're moving forward with that Nipomo Sheriff Substation and hopefully a new fire station in the Dano Reserve development. A couple other things, an interchange. And so if you know, just south of Taft Street, Southland Street has always been identified as an area needing an interchange, and that would help us divert all the traffic that ends up on Taft, which is the most congested corridor in Nipomo, divert that south. And so we're working with Caltrans and our San Luis Obispo Council of Governments Board to start a planning process that would help us move that project forward. Of course, it would be a very expensive project and going to take a number of years, but we need to get that thing going. Let's see, just checking in on time. I wanted to mention the Cicchetti Road situation. This was one of the roads that was knocked out in the 2023 storms. This is in East AG. And this is a picture of me with Senator John Laird. We were talking about how to restore that road and reconnect that part of the community. We have a number of farms, businesses, people that use Branch Mill Elementary, that have been impacted with this road closure. Our board recently voted to approve some temporary funding to build a temporary bridge there to restore access to that part of the community, and that'll be under construction in April. In Oceano, really exciting project, the new playground that's going in there at Oceano Memorial Park. And we've done a number of workshops with the community to try to design this particular amenity around the needs of what the kiddos and the families in Oceano want. And this project will be moving forward this spring and would encourage you to utilize it when it's done. And then Pier Avenue, I want to thank the Chamber here and just express my gratitude for that partnership over the years, not only with all these wonderful Rise and Shines, but how you were able to engage with the business community in the planning process related to revitalizing Pier Avenue. There's some different schools of thought. Is it just a road and an access point to the ODSVRA, the Oceano Dunes Vehicular Area, or is it an access point for the community that we want to make more walkable and bikeable and not just oriented towards the larger traffic? And so I think we struck a balance in working with the business community to make sure that when we do a paving project, we're enhancing our crosswalks and our signage and protected bike lanes and making it a road that works well for the community. And so that's all I have for you today. Those are my South County updates. I was going to take like 1 or 2 questions. Hopefully they're not too political, and if you don't have any, that's great. I'm out of here. Any questions for your District 4 supervisor? Seeing none. All right, thank you so much.